One day, Obunike's frustration erupted like a storm. He shouted at Amarachi, blaming her for their childless state, calling her barren. Each word pierced her heart, and tears welled up in her eyes. Once upon a time, in the small village of Omona, in the eastern part of Nigeria, there lived a hardworking man named Obunike. He was a tall and handsome fisherman who spent his days casting his net into the river, hoping for a good catch. Obunike was well known in the village, not just for his fishing skills, but also for his reserved nature. Despite being tall and handsome, he paid no attention to the young women who admired him, as he was focused on his work. One bright day, as Obunike was casting his net into the river, he noticed a beautiful lady named Amarachi fetching water. Amarachi, with her sparkling eyes and warm smile, caught Obunike's attention. Curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to approach her. "Hello there," Obunike greeted with a friendly smile. "I'm Obunike, the fisherman. What's your name?" Amarachi returned the smile. "I'm Amarachi. Nice to meet you, Obunike." As they exchanged pleasantries, Obunike discovered that Amarachi hailed from a reputable family in the village. She was the only daughter with two younger brothers, and their family had a big farmland where they grew crops to sell in the village market. Listening to Amarachi's stories, Obunike felt a connection with her. He admired her simplicity and the warmth in her words. In his heart, he decided that Amarachi would be his wife. "I enjoy our conversation, Amarachi," Obunike confessed. "You are a wonderful person. Would you mind if we continue talking?" Amarachi, pleasantly surprised, agreed. "Of course, Obunike. I would love to get to know you better." As they chat, Obunike couldn't help but share his catch of the day with Amarachi. He handed her a few freshly caught fishes, making her smile even more. "Thank you, Obunike. This is very kind of you," she said, appreciating the gesture. They continued talking and laughing by the river, their friendship blossoming. Obunike knew in his heart that he had found someone special. Days turned into weeks, and Obunike and Amarachi's bond grew stronger. They spent time together by the river, sharing stories and dreams. Obunike continued to bring Amarachi freshly caught fishes, making her laugh with his fishing tales. Several weeks later, Amarachi and Obunike kept seeing each other. Then one evening, as the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, Obunike couldn't contain his feelings any longer. "Amarachi," Obunike said, his eyes gleaming with love, "will you marry me?" Amarachi, with a heart full of happiness, replied, "Yes, Obunike, I will marry you." They embraced each other, feeling the warmth of their love. The news of their decision to get married spread through the village, and everyone shared in their happiness. Days later, Obunike, accompanied by his family, went to Amarachi's home to formally ask for her hand in marriage. Amarachi, without hesitation, looked into her parents' eyes and said, "I will marry Obunike." Joy and happiness filled both families, and they joyfully carried on with the marriage rites. Weeks later, the village celebrated as Obunike and Amarachi performed the traditional wedding ceremony known as Ibanko in Igbo land. Amarachi moved to Obunike's house and their life began together. The couple did everything together, from cooking and eating to going fishing and selling their catch at the market. Their love blossomed, and the villagers admired them greatly. One day, as they prepared to go fishing, Obunike smiled at Amarachi and said, I am the luckiest man to have you as my wife, Amarachi. Amarachi, with a twinkle in her eye, replied, and I am the luckiest woman to have you as my husband, Obunike. Hand in hand, they walked to the river, casting their nets side by side. The villagers watched in admiration as the couple walked together, their love evident in every action. As they sat by the river bank with their day's catch, Amarachi said, Obunike, our life together is like a beautiful story unfolding. I'm grateful for every moment. Obunike nodded. I feel the same way, Amarachi. Let's cherish this moment forever. Their routine became a source of happiness for them and the entire village. Amarachi, a loving wife, and Obunike, the best husband, created a home filled with laughter and shared responsibilities. The villagers often remarked, Obunike and Amarachi are a perfect match. They do everything together. And indeed they did. From sunrise to sunset, the couple's laughter echoed through the village as they cooked, ate, fished, and sold their catch at the market. The bond between Obunike and Amarachi grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as they sat by the fire in their humble home, Amarachi said, Obunike, I feel blessed to share my life with you. Let's always be this happy. Obunike smiled. Amarachi, as long as we are together, every day will be a joyous day. Their love story continued, spreading warmth and inspiration throughout the village. Obunike and Amarachi's journey became a cherished tale for the children, who listened with wide-eyed wonder as the elders recounted the story of the fisherman and the beautiful lady from a reputable family. As time passed, 2 years slipped away since Obunike and Amarachi had started their life together. However, there was one thing missing, a child to fill their home with laughter. This realization weighed heavily on their hearts. One evening, after a long day of fishing, Obunike and Amarachi sat together by the fire, and a deep conversation unfolded. Obunike, with a furrowed brow, finally spoke. Amarachi, it's been 2 years, and we still haven't been blessed with a child. I'm getting worried. Amarachi, looking into Obunike's eyes with love, responded, Obunike, we must trust in God's plan. His timing is perfect. Let's be patient and wait. Obunike sighed, finding solace in Amarachi's words. They promised each other to stay happy no matter the circumstances and continue their life together with hope in their hearts. As the years rolled by without the pit patter of little feet in their home, Obunike's worry grew. After 5 years of marriage, he decided to seek solution. He took Amarachi to various places, Sia's shrine, native doctors, and even witch doctors. Each offered different advice, some more unsettling than others. Frustration set in as one suggested they had to sleep together before Amarachi could conceive. Obunike, angered by such suggestions, left with his wife, realizing this path held no solution. 10 years into their marriage, on their anniversary, Obunike felt the weight of their childlessness more than ever. Friends offered advice, suggesting he marry another woman to secure an heir. However, Obunike, true to his vows and deeply in love with Amarachi, refused. I can't break our vows, and I love Amarachi too much, Obunike explained to his friends, determination in his eyes. As the villagers celebrated their anniversary, Obunike couldn't shake off the sadness that lingered in his heart. Amarachi, sensing his struggle, held his hand and whispered, "We may not have a child, but we have each other. That's enough for me." Obunike, touched by Amarachi's unwavering love, decided to focus on the joy they shared rather than the emptiness they felt. They continued going fishing, cooking together, and supporting each other through thick and thin. One day, as they sat by the river, Amarachi said, "Obunike, our love is our strength. Let's not lose hope. Who knows what tomorrow holds?" Obunike, looking at Amarachi with gratitude, nodded. "You are right, my love. As long as we have each other, we will find happiness." Their love story became an inspiration for many in the village. Obunike's determination to stay true to his vows and Amarachi's unwavering support touched the hearts of those around them. As the years went by, Obunike and Amarachi continued to face the challenges of childlessness together. They endured the whispers of the villagers and the sympathetic looks from friends, finding solace in their love for each other. As the days turned into months, Obunike's unhappiness grew, casting a shadow over their once joyful home. Amarachi, too, felt the weight of the situation, but she clung to her belief that God's time was the best. However, Obunike's attitude towards Amarachi took a turn for the worse. He began refusing to eat the meals she lovingly prepared, and a heavy silence hung in the air whenever they were together. This change saddened Amarachi deeply. One day, Obunike's frustration erupted like a storm. He shouted at Amarachi, blaming her for their childless state, calling her barren. Each word pierced her heart, and tears welled up in her eyes. Desperate to mend their relationship, Amarachi mustered the courage to kneel before Obunike. With tears streaming down her face, she begged him to be patient, to wait a little longer, and not to give up hope. Instead of understanding her pain, Obunike's anger flared up. He unleashed hurtful words, saying that both she and her God had forsaken their family. This harsh rejection shattered Amarachi's heart. In tears, she gathered her strength and with a trembling voice said, "Obunike, if you believe getting another wife will bring you happiness, then please go ahead. Maybe she can give you the child you desire." Amarachi's plea hung in the air, and Obunike, realizing the depth of the pain he caused, felt a wave of guilt. He couldn't bear to see his wife in such distress. As she cried, he reached out, holding her close, and wiped away her tears. "Forgive me, Amarachi. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. I was wrong," Obunike admitted, his voice filled with remorse. Amarachi, with a forgiving heart, accepted his apology. They decided to start afresh, leaving behind the hurtful words that had marred their love. Obunike reassured Amarachi that he would never bother her again and promised not to consider marrying another woman. Days turned into weeks, and the couple rediscovered the joy they once shared. Obunike, realizing the importance of patience and understanding, began treating Amarachi with love and respect. They went fishing together, cooked side by side, and laughed like they used to. One evening, as they sat by the river, Obunike took Amarachi's hand and said, "Amarachi, you are my heart. I have learned that love is more important than anything else. I don't need another wife. I only need you." Touched by his words, Amarachi smiled and replied, Obunike, let's focus on the love we have. Maybe one day our prayers will be answered. One sunny day, after a successful fishing trip, Obunike arrived home with a twinkle in his eye. He looked at Amarachi and said, Today, my love, I will be the chef. You don't have to worry about cooking. Amarachi's eyes sparkled with surprise and joy. Really? She exclaimed, her face lightening up. That sounds wonderful. Obunike, with a mischievous grin, replied, Yes, indeed. Today, I will show you my secret cooking skills. Returning home earlier than usual, Obunike set to work in the kitchen. Amarachi couldn't help but giggle as he tried his hand at various dishes. They laughed, played, and enjoyed each other's company as they prepared the meals together. After cooking up a storm, they sat down to eat, sharing jokes and relishing the delicious food. Obunike even made sure they had leftovers for later, spreading an extra layer of joy. As the day unfolded, Obunike's demeanor took a surprising turn. He asked Amarachi to fetch his basket from his friend's house, claiming he left it there after selling fish at the market. Amarachi, thinking it was late, suggested going the next day, but Obunike insisted. Amarachi, trusting her husband, left for the friend's house. To her bewilderment, when she arrived, Obunike's basket was nowhere to be found. Confused and worried, she hurried back home. Upon reaching their hut, a chilling sight awaited her. Obunike lay lifeless on their bed, shocked and heartbroken. Amarachi called out to him, but there was no response. She screamed, and concerned neighbors rushed to their hut, witnessing the devastating scene. Among the onlookers was a man named Anene. He noticed a leaf beside Obunike's head, picked it up, and took a sniff. A look of recognition crossed his face as he realized what had transpired. Anene gently explained to Amarachi, This leaf is not ordinary. Obunike took his own life. Amarachi's world crumbled around her. She cried, pleaded with Obunike to come back, but he was gone. The neighbors offered their condolences, but the pain was too much for Amarachi to bear. As she gazed at Obunike's lifeless form, Amarachi whispered to herself, Why, Obunike? Should have waited for God's time, as we always believed. The reality sank in. She was now alone on the journey called life. Amarachi felt a deep sadness, the weight of loss heavy on her heart. She spoke to Obunike, pouring out her sorrow, wishing he had waited for the time they had so patiently anticipated. Days turned into nights, and Amarachi struggled to come to terms with her newfound solitude. The village rallied around her, offering support and comfort, but the void left by Obunike's absence was irreplaceable. One evening, as she sat by the river they once visited together, Amarachi whispered to the wind, Obunike, you were my joy. Why did you leave me? The river, silent witness to their love story, flowed on, offering no answers. Amarachi wiped away her tears, determined to carry the memories of their love with her. After Obunike's burial, Amarachi fell ill, and her mother came to stay with her, concerned for her daughter's health. They decided to call the village nurse for help. To everyone's surprise, the nurse revealed that Amarachi was pregnant. The news hit Amarachi like a sudden storm. She was carrying a child, and this revelation left her in shock. In disbelief, she went to Obunike's grave, tears streaming down her face. With a heavy heart, She beat on the ground, pleading for him to come back, to witness the joy of their expected child. Obunike, we are expecting a baby, she cried out, but the grave remained silent. Her mother gently guided her back inside, where Amarachi, with a mix of emotions, tried to come to terms with the unexpected turn of events. Pregnant and without Obunike by her side, she stood strong, determined to face the future for the sake of her unborn child. As the months passed, Amarachi's belly grew, carrying the precious gift Obunike left behind. Finally, after 9 months, she gave birth to triplets, two boys and a girl. The joy of holding her children was mixed with sadness, knowing that Obunike wasn't there to share this moment. Amarachi, with the support of her parents, embraced the challenges of raising three little ones. Her love for Obunike was the driving force that kept her strong, and she decided not to remarry, choosing to dedicate her life to their children. The triplets, Asama, Chijoke, and Emeka, grew up surrounded by the love of their grandmother and mother. Amarachi found solace in seeing Obunike's future reflected in the face of their daughter Asama, who resembled him greatly. Despite the challenges, Amarachi created a happy home for her children. The village admired her resilience, and the children, like wildflowers, blossomed under the warmth of their mother's love. As Asama, Chijoke, and Emeka grew older, they often listened with wide eyed wonder as their mother shared stories about their father, Obunike, a kind and loving man. The children cherished these tales, forming a connection to a father they never met. One day, as the sun set over Umona village, Amarachi gathered her children around and said, "Your father, Obunike, may not be with us, but his love lives on in each of you. Always remember where you come from and let his spirit guide you." Asama, Chijoke, and Emeka nodded, feeling the warmth of their mother's love and the legacy of a father they could only know through stories. And so, the story of Obunike and Amarachi, filled with twists and turns, came to an end. The love that transcended time and space, the strength that endured through loss, and the joy that emerged from unexpected beginnings. It all became a cherished tale in the heart of Umona village, passing down through generations as a testament to the power of love. The story of Obunike and Amarachi teaches us a profound lesson about patience. Obunike's impatience and desperation to have children led him down a path of despair. If only he had waited and trusted in the timing of life, he might have been alive to witness the joy of his children. The moral here is that patience is not just a virtue, but a guiding force in navigating life's challenges. It reminds us that rushing into decisions or letting impatience cloud our judgment can lead to unforeseen consequences. Trusting in the journey and allowing time to unfold often brings about the most beautiful outcomes. Thank you for watching this amazing story about Obunike and Amarachi on African Stories. If you liked it and felt inspired with their journey, please show your support by clicking the like button, sharing with your friends, and leaving a comment below. To see more interesting stories and learn about different cultures, subscribe to African Stories and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Your support means a lot and helps us bring more stories to you. Until we meet again, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep smiling.